It's the MythWits, a geek pop culture web series, broadcast live for video and audio podcasts. Watch us live at MythWits.com and find us on YouTube and iTunes, bringing you news and reviews about geek pop culture. We have comedy skits, play nerd-tastic games, and provide extensive on-location con coverage. And now, your hosts.
Well, hello, and welcome to the MythWits. I'm your host, Peter Bryant, and joining me tonight is Michael Kafis.
Hello.
Brian Olvera.
Greetings.
And our special guest, Lou Agresta.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Lou. So, just before we go too much further, this show is not safe for work. If you have sensitive ears, run for the hills, or at least listen to it at another time.
I'm out, guys. Sorry.
Okay.
Hey, Pete.
Yes.
Is this show safe, say, for, I don't know, tying your shoes?
Not for me. Not for me at all. I cannot tie my shoes.
So you're shoeless right now?
I am absolutely shoeless.
Well,
and I haven't tied my shoes in 2 days.
Why would that be?
I'll answer that. Oh!
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so this weekend, yesterday, you could tell I'm getting old at this point because I bent down. I was getting ready to put my shoes on. I bent down just to set them down before I slipped my feet into them. And I felt like somebody stabbed me in the back. And then
they did. That was old age.
Old age. Oh, yeah. Old. The Reaper.
Oh, man.
Reaper come up and just ass stabbed me like a prison stab. He shanked me.
He shanked you? I don't know, man. Have you sat on your balls yet?
Have I sat on my balls?
Yet?
Oh, I get it. Right. No, I'm not that old. Not quite.
Exactly. So you're fine. You're good. You haven't sat on your nuts yet, so you're good.
So anyway, yeah, I took a slow dive to the ground after that because I could not regain my feet, and there was a lot of a lot of that. So so my wife is not strong enough to carry me, so I literally had to do an arm drag to the bed, and I dragged myself up into bed, which was exceptionally painful, and so we had some stuff that we absolutely had to do. So I was like, go ahead and go do it. I was going to do it, but I had to send her.
That's what you get for marrying a teenager.
Oh, I wish, man.
I went right for that not safe for work.
Okay, that's fine. So I laid there for like an hour or so, maybe a couple hours. And she came home and she's like, well, how are you? I was like, I can't move. I mean, I could physically feel my toes and everything. I wasn't paralyzed.
I can't feel my legs.
Right, but I couldn't move them because it hurt too bad. So
got magic leg.
I got yeah, but somebody dispel magic on my legs. So I was literally laying in bed, couldn't move. I couldn't turn over or anything. And I had to pee like nobody's business. So anyway, we wound up calling we had to call paramedics. An ambulance had to come and take me to the hospital.
Oh my God! Dude.
No, I'm not kidding, dude. I'm not kidding. Because
and your friends laugh. That's awesome. I gotta take him to the hospital. It's the funniest fucking thing I ever heard.
So yeah, I mean, I
hadn't heard that part. You were saving that for me, weren't you?
I was saving it for the show. So yeah,
I knew it.
So I had to take an ambulance ride because see, I didn't know. It turns out it's not a bad thing. I'm fine. See, I'm sitting up. I'm okay. But
hey, whoa, easy.
No, I'm fine. I didn't know. I mean, I could have done some serious damage or something. Who knew, right? And I couldn't sit, like I could not sit up without being in excruciating pain. So a car ride was out of the question. So I mean, I literally had to have an ambulance take me to the hospital to figure out what's going on. And it basically boils down to I tweaked a disc or something in my back. I'm going for an MRI tomorrow to see if there's anything really serious, but it's looking like it's going to be fine. It's looking like I just did a really nasty pinch on my sciatic nerve.
Called it.
Yep.
Thinking, what would it be? Because, you're like the fourth person I know that has pinched a nerve in their vertebra. My sister did it, and
So the doctor gave me the hospital, whatever, they prescribed me for some I got some oxycodone, which I'm on right now. So if I'm a little loopy tonight, this is why.
You're welcome.
They gave me some muscle relaxers, which I did not take before the show because the show would not happen. I'll take them afterwards, and some steroids. So, but you know what? I got up this morning. I'm walking around now. I'm hobbling a little bit, but I'm walking around, and as the day has gone on, I've gotten more and more mobile. So. I went to my regular doctor and asked her. I said, can I walk around, or is this a bad thing? Should I stay off of it? And she said, as long as you feel comfortable walking around, you should walk around because it'll get you healing faster, keep everything stretched. It's like if you lay in bed, you'll start to spasm, and like your back, your muscles in your back will spasm. So, well, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, you know what they call that around these parts. You know
What
what that diagnosis is.
Oh yeah, I know what they. Go ahead, say it, Mike.
Got ditch back.
I've got the ditch back. Or how is it? Got the ditch back.
Bitch.
All right, so that was my weekend. Any of you guys have anything interesting happen to you over the weekend?
I worked and cleaned. Oh God, my legs are so sore from just all the cleaning I've done around the house. Oh man.
You want some oxycodone to help you with that?
Playing the world's smallest violin, Mike.
Right.
Could I get one?
You guys have a lot of facial hair.
Yeah, you know what? This is a kind of an experiment. I'm probably gonna shave it off soon though, because it's kind of getting on my nerves.
Yeah,
And
I'm
that's
actually
nothing.
complaining.
Don't let us show you our sweaters.
Oh, the Jew bear.
I could kick myself in the ass for not coming to the game tonight with my Iron GM T-shirt, but I don't know why I didn't do that.
Yeah, well, I haven't.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to say
Shame.
that I am sporting the precision diagnostics urinary testing from Precision Laboratories. I just wanted to say, and they did not send me this recently. I just got it at a convention, and since we always like to show off our T-shirts, and I was like, oh my God, it's a T-shirt! I can.
Oh, good. Okay. Wow, we lost Mike. We lost you there for a second. You'll pick back up.
I see him.
No, I lost his audio, but
His audio?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, a likely story. I know you have a mute button.
Yeah.
So, Mike, really, is your audio still out?
I got
Dude, I'm not
Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh, okay.
That's all I got.
Okay.
No gaming shirts or nothing tonight.
Mike, we ain't hearing you. So, anyway, Lou,
Yes.
welcome
It's
to
a blessing and a curse.
welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me back, Peter. I appreciate it.
So Lou's been on our show when we were the con men, which
Yep.
we have changed formats completely, which is working out to be a much better format. A guy I work with, as a matter of fact, was listening to one of the interviews we did that I just put up, and it was from when we were the con men still, and he's just like, I'm really glad you changed your format because the last format was a little bit dry. I was like, yeah, that's why we changed it. So we're a little more fluid now, a little more wet, as it were.
Well, you've always had that effect on me, Peter.
Oh, well, there you go. So Lou runs a. You want to start with Iron GM? I like Iron GM. Let's start there.
Sure, absolutely. I'm an aspiring novelist, a role-playing game writer, and game designer, adventure writer, and with my cohort in crime, Roan Barton.
And he's kind of your cohort.
Cohort?
Yes.
Cohort.
Yeah.
We have a serious bromance, no doubt.
Yes.
My cohort in crime, Roan Barton, and I run Iron GM. We host and run Iron GM, which is we give you 3 secret ingredients, GMs. You have an hour to make adventures while players have an hour to make characters. You run an adventure. At the end of it, your players rate your GMing mojo. And the best GM of the day gets a free trip to Gen Con to compete in the World Championship. And we've been doing that for a number of years now. And it's just getting bigger and bigger all the time. Our next gig is going to be a repeat engagement at Phoenix Comic-Con in June.
Yeah.
There may be a few others that pop up before then. They're just not signed yet. So at PCC,
Wow.
we'll be going back. That's pretty exciting. It's kind of interesting. We have a thing called an Iron GM Local, which is a free guide that anybody can download and get a limited license to run an Iron GM event, so long as they call it an Iron GM Local.
Okay.
So we did Phoenix Comic-Con one year. We brought in our full show. I wear this 100% orange tuxedo. You can see it at www.irongm.com or on our Facebook, Whack Iron Jam. But Roan dresses in a variety of crazy outfits, from like Kung Fu DJ to looks like the Mad Hatter with a big fish. I mean, it's a rock and roll circus.
Right.
We do kind of a comedy show around the whole thing, and Ron writes original music. It's really fun. So we brought our whole show, and then the season after, they said, hey, we're going to use your Iron GM local. We're not going to fly you out to do the whole show. We're just going to, our last year's winner is going to run it. And he did that, and apparently it was really great. And then they're going to, I like his picture. Mike's picture in the tux going, hey.
That was a real piece.
This year they decided to bring us back, so it's great. It's really exciting.
That's right. Yeah, and we see it at TotalCon every year.
Yes.
So Mike and I come up to TotalCon, and we talked about this on our TotalCon episode.
Check.
Yeah, Mike, you're good.
Oh, sure.
And
yes, we do.
And it's awesome. It's a really fun time. They they come out and they do a whole intro with lots of music and there's dancing around and then they start getting serious. They get the players at their tables and now,
not until I've roasted every contestant, just
right.
a little.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because you bring up all the GMs and you mess with them.
Yeah. They have to tell us their GMing name, which will be anything from GM that guy to GM Ed.
Right.
For example, or something. How long have they been playing and why they think they're going to win? And invariably, something in one of those three questions is hilarious.
Right.
So, we can just pull that out and make it a little fun.
My absolute favoriteest thing out of anything on for Iron GM is after we have totally been partying so late Saturday night. And then when Iron GM gets started in the morning, and it's just like and I'm just like, ah!
Yeah, if it's not loud, it's not Iron GM.
We like to call it Rooster GM. Rise and shine, boys.
Nice and early in the morning. Yep. No doubt. And also, the theme song that Roan wrote is pretty rocking. And then
Roan wrote that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. That's right. He's a musician. That's right.
Right. TotalCon is one of our most beloved conventions because it's cozy. It's the coziest convention I've ever been to. It's really and the people who run it, Angela and Steve, are just fantastic. So, Roan writes a unique TotalCon theme song, and he does that for most of the conventions too. But I know he puts extra love into the TotalCon mix.
Oh, wow. Right. That's
so
cool.
that kind of TotalCon rap that you hear.
Yeah.
He writes all that.
Okay, cool. And then, all right. So how does this thing get started? You bring your GMs up, you introduce them, and then they have to get assigned to tables, right? Because they can't play with their buddies.
That's right. They can't play with their buddies because they can't get judged by their friends. That's no good. Mm-hmm. So we call out, and then we come up with 3 secret ingredients that we reveal to them, and those ingredients are always a villain, a cool location, and a exciting and tantalizing narrative situation.
Right.
So, for example, Were Tiger, Winter Storm, Wounded Pride.
Right.
Vampire ventilation system, vigilante justice, something like that.
And then they go to their tables and they sit down, and they're allowed to say what? It's like 3 words, right? 3
words. They can say 3 words. After that, everything has to be pantomime or writing on cards. Or at the World Championship, the guy who won twice in a row was going for a hat trick, didn't quite make it. Eric Frankhouse brought a cardboard cutout of himself, life-size, and he had tear-off sheets on it with preset answers. And he walked out of the room before we announced the ingredients. He does that every year. And then he comes back and he says to the players, what are the ingredients? And then he starts, right? He left a life-size cardboard cutout of himself so that every time the players had a question, they could rip a tear sheet off and get a random answer. It was like a magic 8-ball. Like, can we all be dwarves? No way.
It's awesome.
Hilarious.
That is fantastic.
That's giving me ideas.
So I bet some of these guys get really creative with this. I mean, because you're talking about you're pulling from the most creative people you can find because they think they're going to win this thing and they have to be creative to win it. So
yeah, and there's a lot of incentive too. I mean, the last Iron GM World Championship, we gave away over $30,000 in product and prizes to players and GMs. At TotalCon this last time we hit 7,000 or 8,000.
Wow. And TotalCon, I mean, if you haven't been to Gen Con or TotalCon or both, it's kind of hard to understand the comparison between the two. So I'll put it to you this way: TotalCon's entire gaming setup, their entire gaming spread would fit in 2 pages of Gen Con's book that's like this thick. So, because I opened up Gen Con's book and I counted the number of entries in there for events, and 2 pages front and back. That's everything at most conventions that are not of that size.
But that's that's Iron GM, and I'm we do like 4 to 6 of these a year, depending on how busy Ron and I are with other things. Sometimes it'll be 3. We had one year where it was a few more. But the Iron GM local has kind of caught on. I think last year there were like another 10 Iron GM locals that got run.
Wow. Now
let me ask you something. When you do an Iron GM local, is it just sort of a one-time shot? It's not like if you were going to do this, you wouldn't have to do it and then travel around to various conventions.
No. An Iron GM local is an Iron GM local. An Iron GM regional semifinal is one where Ron and I are flown to the convention. We don't charge the conventions, but we don't want it to cost us anything. We get flown out to the convention, we do the whole show, and the convention is committed to sending its winner to Gen Con to compete, right? Full flight, hotels, the whole thing. An Iron GM local, anyone can do anytime. It's a PDF book that you can download off of our website, irongm.com, and it will tell you all the tricks and techniques that we've figured out for making it an exciting, fun, refreshing thing, and give you something like 20 different sets, 10 or 20 sets of 3 ingredients to get you started.
Right.
So you could run it in your local game store every week. You can run it at your local convention anytime you want. You're not allowed to send someone to compete at the World Championship.
Right. Sure.
Right.
And you have to identify it as Iron GM local, as opposed to Iron GM World Championship or regional semifinal.
Right.
We should think about doing something like that for Balticon. That'd be kind of a cool thing.
I thought about it, but Balticon needs a lot of work. I mean, when it comes to their gaming, they do not have a gaming track. I mean, they have a small room where they will allow gaming, but they don't really have a gaming contingent there. And when this is the first year you're gonna hang out with me all weekend there. You'll see that. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But this would not work at Balticon. There's just not enough.
Not enough people.
Not enough gamers. Not enough. That you would need to revamp their whole gaming tract for that. Okay. Maybe one day. I thought about helping them out with it this year, but I'm too busy with other stuff, and I was like, that's a lot of work. It'd be a lot of work. It'd be a big commitment on my part.
Sure. No, that'd be cool, though. Hopefully, it would be neat to be able to, for us, you and I, to be able to do kind of what Roan and Lou do. It would be kind of neat in order to promote Iron GM, on their scale, too. That would be kind of neat. I don't know where we could do other local conferences.
Yeah, we'd love to see it played as many places as possible because it's fun, and it really does. The scoring system we've created really captures a measure of how to take three key elements to an adventure, improvise them creatively on the fly, and make sure everyone at your table has a great time. If you can be creatively original and make sure everything at your table has a fun time, you're going to do well or win at an Iron GM. And the scoring system really captures that. So it's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah, our buddy Chris won it this year at TotalCon.
Yes. My God, was he enthusiastic?
Yeah,
thanks to me.
So happy.
No, not thanks to you. Stop trying to take credit for his win.
Welcome, buddy.
Yeah, right. No, Chris was awesome. He is a fantastic GM. I mean, he's right up there with the best of them. I hope he wins. I hope he wins at Gen Con.
Hey, if he wins at Gen Con, he's on the show. If not, before then, because he's just fun.
What I loved was after he won, the first thing he did, after screaming enthusiastically like a gorilla in heat, was call his mom.
That's right.
Right, he did.
He did. His first words were like, "Mom, guess what? I'm addicted to heroin.
Right.
No, I'm only kidding. I won.
She's like, won what?
That stupid thing that you were saying that we're devil worshipping in the basement and it was never going to amount to anything.
Right.
Well,
in your face.
You were right, but still.
Crack you gave me, Mom.
So then they play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the game, you guys pass out scorecards, right? And the GMs have to get up and leave the table at that point.
Right. Because we had one time where the GM sat there and stared at all the players, like, "Are you giving me a good score? Are you giving me a good score?" And it really made people uncomfortable. So we were like, that's not so good.
Right.
Good call. Good call on that one.
And you know what? Let me back that up one step. Another thing about this is that they're not allowed to bring any adventures with them, right? They got to make this adventure on the fly.
Right. They have to invent the adventure themselves, and they cannot bring any pre-published material by themselves or anyone.
Now, they can still have ideas. You can't prevent them from bringing a vast amount of ideas and.
Oh no, and they can bring pre-written material they wrote. They won't know what the ingredients are. So, but if they want to make encounters, they won't know. The big part of the scoring involves how original were you with these specific 3 ingredients.
Right.
They can prep all they want and bring all the prep material they want. I've seen people bring gigantic projection out screens and they can bring all that. They can bring people to massage everyone at the table. I don't care. But they can't bring like pre-published adventures that other people wrote. It's a test of their creativity on the fly.
Right.
All right, and then, I got a question. Hold on. I'm sorry, Pete, but either at the not local, but at the semifinal levels, like when you're going to Total Con and you're going to, do you have any idea as the day's going on? Because what is this, like a 3-4 hour event? Correct?
No, it's more like a 6.5 hour.
Okay. So during this event, as you're going around, because I know it takes a while. You're walking around, interacting with people. Do you ever get a feel, or what is your percentage of the times when you're like, I feel like this guy's going to win?
That's a great question. We always talk about that every single event, and we always have a running competition between us up at top who we think wins. And so far we've
numbers like.
There's like 2 kinds of tables that win, right? So far I've never seen a table win where the GM was sitting.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe once. But either everyone at the table is sitting there like this. They're not making a noise. Or all the players are like
right.
all the time. It's one or the other. Anything in between is probably not a winner.
Right.
And if it's Chris, he's dancing around the table. You can't even see him.
Yeah.
And his players are like.
Right, and he's shadow boxing, and he's and everybody has, he's like, yeah.
He takes the guy, and he's like, patrol.
Right.
There was that time, one event I remember, and we got this on camera. One of the guys at Total Con, Piazo, is that his name?
I recognize that name.
Big Viking-looking dude.
Yeah. Got a big beard, right?
Yeah. Took off his shirt and did the truffle shuffle in the middle of a game.
Oh my God.
I have no idea why. To this day, I don't know what inspired that, but I think the funniest thing I ever saw was a furry.
Oh boy.
The full costume and the full mask.
Was GMing?
No, it was playing.
Oh, okay.
So as a GM, you're trying to read everyone's expression and see what they're into and get them excited and do all that, right? So can you imagine, like, you're prepping and you look up and there's just this tiger mask?
Yeah, just staring at you with like deer in headlights.
How do I read that? That would be like Burger King appearing at your table, like.
Oh, I remember those ads.
Commercials? Yeah.
Yeah, the Burger King guy. He uses his hands to talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Rabble.
Yeah, very funny.
I would get if I saw a furry at my table, I would like I say, saying like a tiger, right? I would definitely include a female tiger ready for the taking, just in case, just in case he was,
We get all sorts of crazy stories. I remember once one of the 2-time winners, a guy named at the World Championship, a guy named Nathan Collins. He calls himself GM Dreads. Obviously, he's got like dreads. He was going for his second or third. He was going for his third win, and he wound up with a gaming group of my friends.
Okay.
Who are sick, twisted, and perverted.
Huh.
And he had one other normal person at the table.
Oh, nice.
And my friends orchestrated some sort of murder fuck.
Oh boy.
They murder fucked the dryad and just thought they were just having a good. And this poor fifth person was like. He could not believe the table she was at.
Wow.
Right? And I think, given where all of my buddies went, there was just no way, even someone as talented as Nate was going to make all of them happy. And he lost.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
My buddies are still talking about that game and how awesome it was.
Right.
But you have to find a way to make everyone happy.
Wow, we got when was this? Where was this? This was OGC. So I was at OGC and I ran an adventure where they go into this casino, and I don't know how familiar I was the old Stormbringer, but there was this thing called the Hall of Risk, and I rewrote that as an adventure to run at events because I just liked that adventure so much. I wanted to do something with it. So the problem is that it's this casino where you can bet you can win stats and stuff like that. So you can imagine what happens when you lose. So all kinds of crazy shit happens to you, and it's a pretty rough adventure. And there was this kid that sat down at the table, and everybody was having a really good time with it. It was ridiculous. It's a ridiculous adventure. It's fun, but it's
very Monty Hall.
Very Monty Hall, very much. But so this one kid was sitting there, and he just looked like the guy you're talking about, like a deer in headlights, right? And it turned out, I asked somebody later, I think the kid, he's a little autistic or something. And and he probably shouldn't have been at that game. I did put a warning in the event. I said, this is a rough material for, an older crowd. And the poor guy, man, I felt so bad for him. But his buddy came over and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go. And the guy's like, no, I'm going to go over here for a little while. You can hang out. He's like, no, I can go with you. I'm okay. I'm good. So he got up and left the table, and I was like, "Oh,
Peter Bryant, traumatizing gamers across the nation."
Yeah, I wasn't trying to. I mean, everybody else was having a great time. Let's put it this way: the last thing that somebody won in the thing was he wished for a giant goat dick, and of course he got it. So that was kind of.
Yeah, I was born that way.
Okay, goat dick in particular.
In particular.
In particular, yes. Okay.
Yeah. It's bad.
Oh. So yeah, I can totally understand that. All right, so that's Iron GM. Now you talked about how you do a lot of writing, game writing, and
yes.
game design and stuff. So let's talk. This is one of my favorite products and I say it's one of my favorites. The ones that I know the most of that you did because we talked about this on one of the comment episodes was the Razor Coast.
Right, the infamous Razor Coast.
And
pirate heroic dark fantasy set in an alternate Hawaii in the age of sail that never was.
Right, and it almost never was, right? There's a story behind that.
The legend is that fan favorite author Nicholas Logue, writing for first 3.5 and then Piazo with Pathfinder, he was very, very popular. He had created this setting out of his beloved home campaign because he lived in Hawaii for a very long time, and he's back there now. And he launched his own company, and it was an abysmal disaster.
Right.
Between his personal life and his business issues and starting a new career and moving to England and on and on and on, all sorts of reasons. Okay. And he went from being fan favorite to fan...
like Poison, kind of?
Not so favorite.
Yeah, okay.
So, but Nick is a dear friend of mine and a brilliantly creative person. And I hated him not being a part of the community anymore. So we found a way, and a publisher, Frog God Games, through Greg Vaughn, also Greg Vaughn's adventures build more of my characters than any other. But Greg hooked us up with Frog God, and Frog God was willing to go ahead and satisfy every single one of Nick's pre-orders that his failed company had still hanging out there.
Right.
and bring the book to fruition, provided I could actually finish it. So I had Nick's creative world, his first 3 chapters, his conception of where he wanted to go with this, and I hooked Tim Hitchcock into being the next person to do the bulk of it. And between what Nick had done, what Tim and I then wrote, and some contributions elsewhere, we finished the Razor Coast mega campaign.
Right.
We also, along the way, Frog God needed a player's guide, a book of supplemental adventures, Nick's original Sinister material converted to Pathfinder and included in the main volume, an adventure by Frank Metzer, and a project near and dear to my heart that I've been working on for a while, a set of ship-to-ship combat rules for Pathfinder that let you do cinematic Age of Sail, Master and Commander style combats,
Cool. where every single person at the table has something exciting to do. No one's left.
And that's hard to do because I have a role-playing game that every just about everybody who's played role-playing games all have one in the back of their head. But I have one that I pretty much got close to finishing, but I got other projects and stuff, and I'm
What's
turning
it called?
Mythic Steel. So I'm
Mythic
turning.
Steel?
Yeah. So I'm not trying to get into that. I'm turning that on next year. So I don't.
Segue? Segue?
No. I don't want. This is about you. It's not about me. I just wanted to back that up with I was trying to design a ship-to-ship combat system and an army, like army forces fighting each other type of system, where everybody at the table could play a role. And it wasn't just, all right, roll your dice, see how the whole team does.
Yeah, otherwise one person at the table's all into it, and they're playing this very sort of odd tactical war game with the GM, while everyone else is like snoring or picking their nose, or
right. And the time that you put into becoming, this war tactician takes away from the game.
The whole thing falls apart. So
that's impressive that you're able to pull that off.
I think it really works. There was two reasons I was able to pull it off. The first was an innovation that occurred to me one time that I was showering. I get lots of ideas in the shower.
I do too. Yep.
I don't know why that is. It's like go in the shower and suddenly, lightning starts going off. But and that was that there was going to be.
Mike goes to the bathroom and lightning starts going off.
I'm just thinking when I'm in the shower, maybe something else would happen if I stopped masturbating. Maybe I'd get more ideas, but whatever. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Maybe you should stop taking my electric razor in the shower.
Oh.
But the idea was that there was going to be 2 initiative rolls. It's going to be your normal Pathfinder initiative, and there was going to be a ship's initiative. So instead of saying we're going to do ship things instead of Pathfinder things, no, we're going to do ship things in addition to Pathfinder things.
Cool.
And then we gave every player takes on a role, whether you're the captain, the gunnery sergeant, the surgeon, the first mate, whatever it is. And there's a whole list of specific ship actions that your role entitles you to. And then a whole set of feats and skills that can enhance and improve those, including how many of the crew members you can command. So you can command like 20, hey, you 20, come with me, we're going to go plug that hole in the ship.
Right.
And, and because you took certain skills and feats, you get to do that, and, under cannon fire. Or you 20 and you 40, you come with me, we're boarding,
Right.
So it sort of brings the idea of using mooks in a different way, too.
Yes, they become kind of a resource. They become like fuel on the ship. And if at the end of the battle you don't have enough of them left over, you can't sail your ship right anymore.
Right. That's where you take on members of the other ship. Don't kill everybody and sink them. We might need some of them.
Or that's when you wind up shipwrecked, and a whole different kind of adventure starts. But the main thing was that everyone has a role, and everyone takes their normal Pathfinder action and their ship action to affect the ship in combat that turn. And then the other thing that made it that I got a hold of that made it work was John Ling.
Okay.
Because in our little writing group, the Were Cabbages, we call him the Ling 9000 because his control of his mastery of the mechanics and how the math is going to play out. Superlative, and the next writer as well.
That, Lou.
Right, exactly. So I would be like, yeah, and then we'll have the mast explode and take off like a giant rocket, and it could just land inside the other ship and split it in half. And he's like, no.
No, can't.
How would that work mechanically exactly?
Right.
You know.
Right.
No, but his brilliance and thoroughness combined with my vision and zaniness, I think it was a good. We make like the two pontoons of a boat that can then actually sail.
Right. So
now. Okay. No, and then the other thing that the system does is you can design a ship like a character. You can design a frigate in like 15 minutes or half an hour. We set it up so every 20-foot cube of a ship is its own location with armor class, hit points, equipment on it, etc. And so you get to design ships from the ground up. And the system keeps them reasonably historically accurate without taking away from your fantasy fun, you know.
Right. That's cool. That is pretty awesome.
I'm excited about it. Don't get me started. I'll go on.
So let's talk a little bit about the Razor Coast. I know there are some really cool elements that you put in it. Like from the creatures and the factions that are in there. So you can play pirates, or you can play you can play like natives, I think it was.
Sure.
And I'm showing the cover. You can't see this, but it's in our stream, and you'll see it if you watch this later. But I got the cover of the book on here, and there's a big ass were shark about to attack this female captain.
Reynolds. Yeah, and Captain Bethany Razor,
right?
The widow Razor who sails Quell's whore, Quell being the sea god in this setting. That's her ship.
So there's a whole bunch of story elements built into this, right? I mean, there's all these
it's a campaign
characters
It's three things. It's a new way to. It's a massively NPC and roleplay driven campaign setting that is also a sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
And it's set up so that there are two storylines that your players are going to wander into one way or another, and they'll have a kind of linear AP feeling.
Right.
But it's also a toolkit that helps you come up with utterly unique ways of how they're going to get there. This thing will never play the same way twice. I innovated pretty heavily in trying to create this extremely modular system based off of what Nick had begun to create and his creative brilliance, and then turn it into something where the GM at home sits down and says, okay, I'm at 6th level. Let's see. They could get involved in the criminal underworld. They could save children who have been vanishing down the sewer. They could go out to sea. Where are they geographically? What are my story options?
Uh-huh.
Oh, those are the ones my players are going to like. How do I hook them into it?
Right.
And you kind of build your own adventure path from the building blocks in the 569-page book.
Holy moly!
539-page book.
Nice.
And it takes them from 5th to 15th level. If you include the supplemental adventure book and some other things. So it was very ambitious, and it's supposed to be utterly driven by no matter what direction your players go, they're going to come to some element that connects to everything else. Everything connects to everything.
Cool.
And so for example, NPCs, right? They're very, very detailed, excruciatingly detailed. And then their life stories are plotted out, right? If the PCs have absolutely nothing to do with them and never meet them, their lives end in doom, destruction, and death. And it gives the stages.
Uh-huh.
Then it'll show you, but if your PCs meet them, here's how they could befriend them or make enemies of them.
Right.
And if the PCs intervene, here's how their lives go, totally different.
Nice.
And if the PCs interact with them in certain ways, then in the climactic battles, here's how these NPCs pay off. Here's how the relationships pay off and what they do for the PCs in climactic moments. So
it's just because our listeners come from all walks of life, not only player characters, not only role.
They're human beings, man.
Yes.
Science scene and everything. So NPC is a non-player character. That is someone that usually the DM, the dungeon master, the game master controls, and then the player character, the people who actually make up the characters and are playing. These are obviously, for anyone who's listening this far, tabletop role-playing. So anyway.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we had a largely...
No, we do. No, Lou, it is. Lou, it is for the most part. Most people are gamers and understand most of the stuff. We're just trying to make sure, just in case you fell behind, bring you up to speed. Now,
but there's controversy has arisen over the content.
Okay.
Sorry, you were going to ask me a question.
I was just going to ask you one thing. I know it's something you were very proud of, and I thought it was really cool. Was the totem monster?
Oh yes, the undead cannibal pygmies.
Yes.
That when threatened will pile on top of each other and flesh meld into one gigantic totem monster. Each of the pygmies becoming a different head, each with its own like vomit bile or other rip off its own arm and throw it to you like a weapon.
Right. I just thought that was a really, when you told me about that the first time, I was like, that is a very awesome, creepy ass villain. That is really cool.
And Adam Daigle wrote that up for me.
What's making it worse in my head, I'm picturing Oompa Loompas.
Yes, you could go there. Sure.
Oompa Loompas meet the Walking Dead.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So tell us about this controversy.
Well, it's more like Nick has had a very specific and clear vision. Unlike other adventures or APs that I've seen, this one really focuses thematically on the evils of colonialism. Mm-hmm. And he got there because he lived in Hawaii for so long, and he lived next to the modern inheritance of colonialism on exactly the kind of island peoples, that he was writing about. So he's specifically focusing on issues that have modern political relevance in his fantasy thematics.
Right.
And that's not always the most popular choice. And you get a lot of very interesting responses. So, for example, I've had some very conservative people I would qualify as conservative after talking to them some, who don't like what they're seeing because they don't like being made to feel like if they choose anything other than being friends with the oppressed natives, I should say the oppressed indigenous peoples, then they're somehow a bad person. Like so, and then on the flip side, I've gotten yelled at by people I would consider very progressive who think that the book has a sort of noble savage treatment of indigenous peoples.
I think you're doing the right thing then, because you're hitting controversial on both sides.
Right.
Yeah.
For you.
So we seem to be getting yelled at from both sides of.
You're doing it right.
Then I wouldn't sweat that. I mean, unless of course you feel like it's really hurting like your sales or your effort.
No, I don't think so. I think if you don't want to delve into a place where a colonial power, if you don't want your fantasy setting to be a place where a colonial power has nearly extinguished the culture of the people they've colonized, and that tension is somehow like just get that out of my game,
Getting a little
then this is not for you.
Yeah.
Then this is not for you. But if you want to if you're willing to engage in that, and it's fantasy, dark fantasy, were sharks, gore, tentacles, shark gods,
right?
Undead cannibal pygmies. You're going to get something super unique. So
you know what really? Okay, so this, I don't want to get into a big thing on this, but I just want to make one point here is that it always amazes me what bothers people, what bothers them enough to get up out of their seat and say something, or stokes them enough to get angry because. This latest, and it's over a week old now, so I can talk about it. It's not a spoiler thing. If you haven't seen it yet, it's not my problem. There is going to be a Game of Thrones spoiler here for just a second. But there's this scene in Game of Thrones on HBO, it's HBO series if you're not familiar with it, where one of the characters rapes another character. And it's not clear, the writers have said it wasn't really, because if you look at it, this and that, okay, that's fine. That's not what I'm getting into. I'm just going, let's say it was rape. Let's just say it was.
It was rape.
Okay, whatever. So.
No, he's saying it because you told him to.
Yeah. Right. So everybody started complaining about it. It seemed like a lot of traffic in this on the internet, right? But people haven't really been complaining about the show. They've been talking about how great it is. And it's been getting all these praises and such. And this is the one thing they complain about. And I'm like, okay, you're right. Rape is terrible. I mean, it's absolutely terrible.
But
like,
the show supports it.
Well, I'm just saying, but the point I'm sorry, I'm getting a little serious here for just a second, okay? So let me be serious for 1 second. But, you know, last season they cut a man's dick off. Mm-hmm. The guy was torturing him, and he cut his finger open and was pulling the bone out of his finger so that the guy would beg him to cut his finger off. Okay, so there's mutilation and torture. The scene just before the rape scene, these guys came into a village and slaughtered everybody, women, children, everybody, right? And we're going to eat them. They were cannibals.
There was probably some rape there.
Probably. But my point is that I understand you're going to complain about rape. I get it. I would too. But dude, really, that's a society we're in where like
there's worse stuff in that show.
Like it's okay to mutilate people. No, that was fine. It's okay to cut a dude, cut his cock off. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Fine, yeah, no problem. Oh, that was great. That was an awesome scene. And
well, Peter, you know what? If we're going to be serious here for a little bit, here's what I would offer up about that. I don't think in my neighborhood there are really any cock cutter offers or people who are going to eat arms.
Okay.
But
so you're saying it touched... Okay.
But if I go to the sex offender websites, I can find rapists and child molesters.
So you're saying it's what hit home. It just kind of hit home on people.
Because it's more real.
Okay, I got you. All right, you know what? I can kind of see that. I guess I can kind of see that. It was just kind of tweaking me. I was just kind of like, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's bad. Who could disagree with that? But I mean, like,
of course, I could be wrong because when I go to that website, it doesn't tell me if they were a cock cutter offer or not. So.
Right.
Well, that's what I mean. This necessitates the need for a cock cutter offer registry.
Oh God, did we just make light of that whole thing? All right. Anyway, it's just
don't get me wrong. I'm also getting reviews that are saying like the leading edge in adventure design. Every adventure path ever from this point forward should be, done this way. And I think that's overblown. I don't think I deserve that sort of praise. But there's clearly that there's a wide range of opinions on Razor Coast, if they're not liking it, it's certainly getting them excited and engaged. So,
hey,
I'm going to say this one thing. I'm going to say, like I said before, you're going to get the what do you call it? The outliers, right? Outliers are the ones who are more likely to give you a comment. So if you are getting outlying positive comments in one direction and outlying negative comments in either direction, or if you're getting them all from all directions, that means that you have other people that aren't even saying anything, that are spanning, that aren't saying anything, that are spanning.
That's a good point. Yeah, most likely. And it's I've written a lot of different things. I've written for Piazo, and I wanted to do more for Piazo, but I've just been really busy. And I've written for Super Genius Games and which is now Rogue Genius Games, and Wright Publishing and O1 Games, etc. But I've been involved with projects that the supplements and follow-ups have won Ennies. Yeah. But I haven't won an Ennie yet.
You haven't won one yet?
No, I have not.
Are you up for any this year?
I don't know yet. Every single Razor Coast book has been submitted, so maybe the old marketing saw about any controversy is good controversy will play.
All right. So how do we use the power of our listener? David, we're talking to you, buddy. How do we? How do we get... Hey, at least we know his name now.
Yeah, we got that.
No, how do we? We got to utilize our audience power to somehow get this book there.
Well, we are.
This will happen. Maybe it's not this year, but next year we'll have you on the show, and we'll have like 6 or 7 members, and we are going to
I'll be covered in awards.
Right.
Right.
No, we are growing slowly. It's a new show. We're growing slowly.
Right.
But we're growing.
Pretty soon it'll be David and what's his name.
But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. We put a lot of people put tremendous amount of love and work and creative brilliance that I just sat kind of in awe of and said, wow, this stuff's coming in. I mean, the community responded in an amazing way. I had artists like Hugo Solis aka Butterfrog, do artwork for free.
Right.
You know, amazing artwork for free. You know, people contributed their time and their effort. They wanted this book to come out. They wanted the community made whole. They wanted Nick to be able to come back and write, because every person who had believed in him and backed him finally got made good and got made whole, and that was the biggest part of the accomplishment, you know.
And Nick is back now, right? He's back in the game.
I believe so. Yeah, I mean,
Good.
he's living in Hawaii and he teaches theater. He's a professor of theater, and I believe he's doing some writing. And I'm gonna get off this podcast and give him a call, because I haven't talked to him in a while.
Oh, good. Okay. So
We brought you guys back together.
So Lou, is there any other role-playing things you want to talk about before? Because I know you're writing something, and I want to talk about that for a little bit just before we have to let you go.
Well, I've had a couple of role-playing game projects that I've kind of had to put on hold, although one is probably really close for publication. And it's just a little supplement thing. It's a little toolkit that I think, in the best of all worlds, I'd like seen as a PDF. And it's 20 questions and a little primer on how to hold the right way and the wrong way to hold a collaborative creation session. And it sits the gaming group down and says, hey, for your first session, don't play. For your first session, take these 20 questions and this process, unhook your imaginations, smash them together at the table, and make your own campaign world.
Right.
Your own setting. And then it takes the answers to all the questions like a Mad Lib and plugs them into a couple of paragraphs that I've written.
Right.
So that at the end you have a pre-written description, like the backgrounder at the beginning of an adventure path that describes the campaign world. So it's just a tiny little tool, but it winds up being amazingly fun, and it gets all your players hugely invested in the world that you've collectively created.
Right.
And so far in playtesting, you know, I've had to chase down the playtesting groups because they're like, yeah, whatever, we're busy playing.
Right.
You know what we've created. So that's something I've got to find a publisher for. I just have to get off my butt and put some final T's and I's on it.
Is that something you could do at Gen Con?
It would be the kind of tool. No. It would be the kind of tool that every gaming group could use to
Oh no, I meant find a publisher. Would that be something you could do at Gen Con?
No, but at this point I know enough.
You should. You probably know enough people.
Yeah, I make some phone calls. I was gonna hit up Owen Steffens for it, Rogue Genius Games, mastermind, him and Stan. But Owen's now taking a job at Piazo, which is awesome for Owen, and that's very happy. But I don't know. I think he's still gonna be doing all the Rogue Genius stuff, so maybe I should still hit him up for it.
All right, cool. So can you talk about your writing? You said you're writing. You were telling me earlier that you're writing some stuff. Is that something you're open to talk about?
No,
that was super secret, dummy.
No, it's just always yes, I can. Can a writer talk about his writing? Why, yes. Okay. You could probably convince me to do that.
Okay.
I write words.
I think the term is bloviating.
Okay. So bloviate away.
Bloviate. While I was doing the Razor Coast Kickstarter to get the book off the ground, Gunmetal Games and David Jarvis have a cyberpunk setting called Interface Zero, and they were expanding it and also doing a Kickstarter. So he asked if he could give me. He learned somehow, I have no idea, poking around in my private files, loading
around in your privates.
Loading yeah, well, that was exciting. Loading cyber viruses on my computer or something. I don't know. Somehow the dude found out that I write fiction. And so he gave me away as a prize on his Kickstarter to write a short novel set in his Interface Zero world.
Cool. Okay.
So just the other day I finished my rough draft. So,
nice.
Yay.
Yay. No, that's good. Cool.
As Hemingway wrote, the first draft is always shit.
Right. It usually is. Yeah, we've had a couple writers on here. Matter of fact, Mark Edwards, right? He's at Total Con. He runs.
Yes.
Well, you probably run into him. He just recently finished up his novel and was promoting it on the show. And
nice.
So we talked to
14 Degrees North, baby.
Yeah, 14 Degrees North. And I'm going to be doing the audio version of it.
Oh, that's cool.
So
That's awesome.
I'm gonna read the audio version for him.
Very awesome. Yeah.
Because he's at that stage where he can't really pay people to do stuff, and I was like, hey, I'm pretty cheap, as in free. I'll do it. But it's also because I've been wanting to read a book anyway, because I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I was like, that sounds like something I'd like to do just for the fun of doing it. And
yeah, no, that sounds great.
Yeah, so
I like to read books.
I like to read books.
It's kind of like Towley, man. It's like, you want to get a read? No, it was on one hand we're doing this like Joseph Conrad meets Tentacles and Gore, Hawaii piratey Razor Coast stuff. Mm-hmm. And on the other hand, I'm trying to switch gears and write this cyberpunk, far future, nanotech. It's completely different gear.
Right. Well, that's fine. I mean, we gamers, we have the ability to do that.
Yeah, no, it's fun. The Interface Zero world is pretty neat, and I've decided to focus on the dirty, underprivileged criminal underworld because that's fun.
That's good. They're always more fun to write about anyway.
They're underrepresented,
right?
Yes.
Nobody likes to read about paladins,
right?
Unless it's somebody killing a paladin, because they're no fun.
The Deed of Paxenarion. There we go. You know those books?
What's that?
The Deed of Paxenarion.
No, I don't know that. What's that?
Fantastic. Best paladin you'll ever read about. Fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
So somebody wrote about a paladin that's interesting?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
100%.
I'd have to check it out then, because that's one of the things we're just kind of like, if you can do that, then you are definitely a good writer.
From abused village girl to paladin who saves the world.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sexually abused village girl? Or...
Oh, jeez.
You could only hope, right, Mike? You could only hope.
Mike.
It's cogent. It's cogent from what we were talking about.
And the last guy just plays with his mustache the whole time.
Right. That's our news anchor, Brian.
Whenever Mike says things like that, he goes faster.
You know how many hours he needs to get that look?
Right. It's a tough look. Yeah, Brian, you haven't said much. You got any questions for our man Lou here?
No, not really. I mean, I'm loving what well, no, because I'm loving what I'm hearing, especially as a Pathfinder player myself.
Right.
And I am fairly familiar with the Razor Coast stuff. It's something that me and my Pathfinder group want to pick up sometime soon, as soon as we finish our current campaign. But yeah, and I just some of the stories you were talking about, the Iron GM stuff is just great. I was just enjoying it the whole time.
Hey, we have a fan.
No, at first I thought he was like, any questions? Nah, fuck this dude.
No. I happen to know
on the inside.
No, I happen to know Brian's. He plays Pathfinder, and so I thought he would. I don't know if I don't know. Brian? I guess I didn't tell you that Lou does Pathfinder stuff, did I?
No.
Okay.
The minute I heard Razor Coast, I'm like, ooh.
Well, usually we'll see. Okay, so usually what I do is I get in touch with the guys on like Sunday, and I'll send them like the guest doc that I didn't get, but that's okay. But
because of
but being that I was kind of taken out yesterday, I didn't have a chance to like talk with these guys ahead of time to give them a little more info, as it were. But
that's all right. I knew my shit.
So
no, it's just the way that the project ballooned in like 4 or 5 books, and by the time it was like months and months of working on it, 6 or 8 months. In the middle, by the time I got done with that, I was like, fuck pirates.
Right. I'm so done with pirates.
Another like tentacled kraken beast, sharks, wear shark templates. Oh my god, never again, nothing again. I want to do something totally different. And I sat down with my gaming book and my gaming group and said, okay guys, what do you want to do? And they're like, Razor Coast.
I was thinking, no.
No, but I love it.
How about Sharknado?
Sharknado.
Razor Coast NATO. So did you? So I know there was an event at Gen Con where they ran a Razor Coast adventure. It was huge, like I don't know, like 10, 15 tables or something. Goofy,
oh yeah, that was
a
a
like
mega event that Tim Hitchcock ran.
Yeah.
He ran it as an interactive, and so what went on there was that all the tables were having simultaneously adventures set in Razor Coast. And as they got killed off, they eventually, the remaining people all were in competition in a floating ziggurat of murder blood, with these priest kings, these like mott craze. Mott is a drug we created that turns you into kind of a hyper crazed rage, blood killing machine thing. You have to read Tim's write-up to get the full sense of it. So
Right.
they float around the Razor Coast in these ziggurat temples on that are boats, raiding the shoreline and being people on them, and basically they're like Aztec temples on the water, on
Nice.
giant rafts. And for whatever reason, all these players had to eventually invade one of these temples, and as the people would die off, they'd bring the tables together, and again, until it was just a bunch of people in competition.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, I actually kind of stole a little bit of that idea. I mean, several people do this, and I think I talked to you about what is it? What did you call it? The net, the sneaker net.
Bot web?
Huh?
Oh yeah. Sure.
Where you have a guy that runs from table to table, making sure things happen. So at TotalCon, I ran a little event like that, but it was only 3 tables, and they were doing like a time. It was like a time thing. So 3 different time zones, but they were all linked time zones. So stuff that happened at one table could affect another table.
Right.
So
Right.
that was kind of cool.
Did I tell you about that? What the heck was it called now? I'm totally blanking. Nick, Tim, and I did this at Gen Con years ago. It was an Armageddon scenario, and I can't believe did I tell you about this?
Yeah, you did. We talked about it on the when we were talking about Razor Coast on the comment episode, where there was it was a bunch of tables, and you were running back. Somebody was running back and forth, passing notes and stuff to the game masters, and
right. So and now you and I should just look at each other and feel satisfied, and leaving everyone else like going, "What the
fuck are you talking about?" Right? Yeah. Well,
been there, done that, right? Because I know people's like, I don't know if I ever want to do that again.
Right. No, it was crazy because I went nuts. I had it was 3 different systems, right, and 3 different time zones.
Yellow. Yep.
3 different genres. So it was superheroes, like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and like a D&D group, and it was crazy because then when they all came together at the same table for the second part of the adventure, they all appear in time. They're all pulled together through a paradox, and imagine you're in one of the pyramids of Giza, because that was the setting for it.
Right.
And you appear in the same room as a bunch of guys dressed up from the 1800s, a group of superheroes, like spandex and all that, right? And the D&D party were gnolls, so a group of gnolls, and then the big enemy is an undead, of course, Lich Beholder. So it was complete.
Did you use Marvel?
Well, we used so for the superheroes they were using Margaret Weiss's Marvel.
The Margaret Weiss is okay. I'm sure that's great. I haven't actually played it, but I'm a big fan of the original Marvel superheroes.
Oh, with the chart, the face rip,
and the random character generation.
Yeah. And then it was actually I think Nick was using I know he was using a version of D&D. I think he was using 3.5, or he might have been using old school, like advanced Dungeons and Dragons. But I do know that was D&D, and Brass and Steel was the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type group. And then when they all came together at the same table, I took everybody's characters and handed them Savage Worlds character sheets so that they'd all be playing the same system. Because I figured Savage Worlds is one of the only systems I could run 15 people at a table.
Right.
So it went over pretty good. Everybody had a good time. But the lesson I learned from that was don't get too crazy, because the different systems kind of mess with everybody. And I think it was a little too much.
Right. I think the next thing I want to do is another Call of Cthulhu adventure. I'm sort of itching.
You like Call of Cthulhu?
Yeah. I did the one for Super Genius that was Modern New York.
Right.
And totally nonlinear, and that was just so much fun. So I think it's time to go to feudal Japan.
There you go. Okay.
Samurai and tentacles seems like.
Oh, tentacle.
Yeah, but investigation, Japanese investigation.
All right, we are at the 10:35.
Yeah, I apologize. I got a jet.
No, that's cool. Nope. Perfectly fine. So,
I don't want to keep you up too late. I know if you have to go.
Yep, he does. So, Lou, real quick before you go, though, give us some plugs. Give us some links for people. I'll put them in the show notes, but for right now, for people just listening, because there's also an audio podcast version of this that goes out, so they hear it in the car or whatever.
Well, there's my own underfed blog, bootstrapfiction.com. Mm-hmm. And that's where I'll be posting stuff about Interface Zero and the Cyberpunk novel.
Okay.
We'll all find out what happens when augmented reality hits strip clubs. Got his attention. Look at that. Yes. Look at that.
What?
And so bootstrapfiction.com, Interface Zero. I'm pretty sure that's interfacezero.com. You can always check out Razor Coast at Frog God Games or at Piazo. Mm-hmm. And keep your fingers crossed. I don't know what those any judges are going to do, but.
Oh, and you have your blog, your personal blog, Lou's Aggression.
RPG Aggression.
RPG
right?
Aggression. That's it. RPG Aggression.
RPG Aggression. Mostly that's moved over to Facebook. Mostly.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
All right.
So Facebook.com whack RPG Aggression.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course IronGM.com.
Yes, absolutely.
Does Iron GM have a Facebook page as well?
It does. Facebook.
Okay. Cool.
Iron GM.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Lou. Well, thanks for coming on. We're gonna let you go. He's got his kids in the morning, so. Yeah. We'll talk to you next time.
Lou, you're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you very much.
All right, Lou.
And I'm on that list, on the website.
Yes. Oh, all right, Lou.
Scholar and a cock cutter offer. That's
right. Okay, the cock cutter offer list. Okay, right. Yes. Watch out. Yeah.
Good night, gentlemen.
All right. Good night, Lou.
Take care, Lou.
Yeah.
Hey, Lou, hang up. Little red. There you go. All right. Hey. There we go.
All right. So, we need to do the news and we need to do the movie draft before you leave, Brian. So,
sure.
You tell me, which one do you want to do first?
I can punch through the news real quick.
Okay.
Not a lot of screen sharing. It's mostly just trending stuff I saw. So, first things first. Shocker here, but Warner Brothers just announced that Zack Snyder is going to be directing the Justice League movie. Oh, you mean the one that's going on right now?
Wait a minute, going on right now?
They might as well, because here's the thing. Before this, I read that they just squeezed in Cyborg in the current movie.
Okay.
Ray Fisher's playing Cyborg.
Right,
I'm just like, God damn it, just call it Justice League.
Right.
Not Batman versus Superman.
Oh, I see what you're saying. In other words, okay, so the Batman versus Superman might as well just be... Just call it Justice League, because
they're throwing everyone in here, and I'm just like, oh my God.
I heard there was a rumor Matt Damon might be playing Aquaman at some point. What?
This Aquaman is just funny.
Hey, Aquaman's a badass. Have you read the new 52?
No.
No.
They finally made him.
He's not badass.
No, he is.
No, they made him badass finally.
Yep.
Finally
so
did.
He's going to be my new fry cook. I'm going to get Aquaman to be my new fry cook.
Aquaman SquarePants. Superman, 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 Superman.
Oh my God. That's sad because that's how some people view Aquaman.
And then it'd be
this guy.
I'm just gonna use my boomerang or batarang.
That's how this guy views Aquaman.
No, Aquaman is.
What's he gonna do? Attack me in the bathtub?
No, dude, he's
hey, that'd be kind
strong.
of frightening. Like he turns into water and he manifests in your shower.
Oh boy.
No, that would be the Wonder Twins.
Oh boy, he's going all the way back to the Wonder Twins.
All
right,
man,
so
that reminds me of the hoax that supposedly they were going to do a Wonder Twins movie, and it was like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis playing them.
Oh, it would be awesome.
It was a hoax, though. They even made a poster for the hoax. I almost lost my shit when I saw the poster.
Now, if they did like a little YouTube mini, that would be awesome.
That actually would be awesome. I would pay for that.
Yeah.
So,
Have you guys ever seen the Punisher mini? That was
yes, by Thomas Jane.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He could still do it. Why don't they give him another chance, Pete?
I don't know, man. Give him another
It's not
chance.
fair.
He could have been a contender.
All right, what do you got next, Brian?
So, speaking of movie news, so Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher was just recently spotted in London near Pinewood Studios. I wonder why they're there.
The three of them together? What a coinky dink.
Are they using the Force?
I don't know. They were forced into something in
Or were they
Pinewood.
just in the channel?
The channel of love.
But yeah, you know, the seventh entry of Star Wars is supposed to be filming next month, so don't bullshit us. We know that they're coming back. I mean,
Of course they are.
I mean, they even said that the script sets the story 30 years post Episode 6, so it's perfect.
So
they literally wrote around these actors. Okay.
So are you going to talk about the kind of bad part of the Star Wars news this week?
I'm gonna.
I don't know if that was in your feed or not.
It's not because I'm trying to.
He's in denial, Pete.
Yeah. But here, okay. Next story, because this was actually amazing.
Okay.
This blew people's minds. Do you guys remember the E.T. video game debacle back in the 80s?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the supposed myth that it's all buried in a landfill in New Mexico?
Yeah.
It's real, man. It's real.
Yep.
They dug it up?
Yeah, they found it. Exactly where it was. The city gave them the rights. After 2 weeks of excavating, they found it. Literally millions of Atari cartridges of E.T.
Oh, my
the
God.
video game.
Dude, they did a...
documentary.
Yeah, they did a, what do you call it? The thingy with the fundraising, and not an Indigo, but a...
Kickstarter?
Yeah, they did a Kickstarter and promised a documentary out of it, and they raised so much goddamn money out of it.
The city had to say yeah.
Yeah,
But
there will be a documentary, but most of them are crushed, but I think there are a lot of them
there's actually some pictures of the foreman holding one that's still intact. It's just a little dirty, but...
How much you want to bet that's going to go for some serious money if that thing works?
Oh, it'll work.
As a collector's item.
Someone's going to get shot for that. Let me see here. So I have a couple that I'm willing to screen share real quick. I saw this neat set of scarves that are printed with images from the Hubble Space Telescope.
Cool. All right, let's see.
Did you say scarves?
Scarves.
Scarves.
Yeah, scarves.
Does he mean scarfs?
We'll see some scarves here.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
neat.
These run about $80 to $200 because these are silk scarves, and these are pretty neat. You know, these were just actual stuff that the Hubble Space Telescope saw.
Cool.
It's got different designs, and I thought that was kind of neat. And then on the next one, it is the world's largest balloon sculpture made by a single person.
Oh boy! All right.
It is a giant Optimus Prime made out of 4,300 balloons. And he codenamed it Poptimus Prime.
Oh, okay.
All right, he wins just for the name.
And I thought that's just impressive. I had to share that with you guys. That was pretty neat. But on to some scientific news. 3D printed casts with ultrasound treatments can mend broken bones quicker by 40 to 80%.
Yep.
Because now with these 3D printed casts, that actually gives them more room to actually put the equipment for ultrasound treatments for broken bones. So they can do it more frequently, and it also helps, which means the bones will mend much quicker.
So wait, is that how they jack into the net? I don't understand.
No, they send ultrasound into the bones to stimulate growth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like that. What you said last week about that guy Spider-Man dart shooter. Is that?
Yeah, it's just like that, Mike.
Mixing and matching some of these.
It's just like that, Mike.
Okay.
And the beautiful thing is that it breathes, so they don't get that nasty, ass cast,
And you have to scratch it with a. You don't have to. You don't need a pencil to scratch your arm or your leg anymore.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Just another wonder of 3D printing, ladies and gentlemen. First, it was a working gun. Now it's cast to help mend broken bones quicker.
Yeah, and they had Have you seen the ones where they actually can grow prosthetic limbs with a 3D printer, and it's like a 1/zillionth the cost?
Yeah, they've also done printable food.
Yeah.
And all this.
Can they 3D print a penis just for those cock cutter offer victims?
They can. Actually, they can. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's truly a remarkable time we live in.
When I got 3D print a penis at home.
It's like, space travel, solar energy, all that, computer software. No, 3D printing. This is the pinnacle of our race.
Yep.
And this is what's going to happen. They're going to have, like if you're a celebrity, you will license your penis to be 3D printed. So you will buy Shaq's penis for like $30 on the internet.
You can literally buy Shaq's shaft.
That'll be all right.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so what's next, Brian?
A little bit of nostalgia. There was a Reddit user who actually bought a 93 Ford Explorer and made it into the Jurassic Park 1993 Ford Explorer. Even did the light ram guard, even the little digital display.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Literally got all the fine details. Not, just a bit of nostalgia for tonight. With Jurassic World being underway.
Yeah.
They already started showing some on-set photos, which it's starting to look interesting because the director actually just recently said that they are using animatronics in the film.
Okay, so they're not going to do it all CG. It's going to be old school.
They're Stan Winston students. They have to use the Stan Winston T-Rex puppet.
Right.
They have to. It's not a Jurassic Park movie without that friggin' T-Rex puppet.
Right.
But I just thought that was kind of cool.
I just found out that Ian's favorite movies is the Jurassic Park series, so he would be all stoked for that.
They did not resonate with me that well. I liked them, but they didn't. Yeah. They weren't anything special. I was like, it's a cool movie.
I was meh.
Yep.
Like, first one was good. Second one was trash. Especially the scene when Jeff Goldblum's daughter swing on that pole. Like when the daughter says, "Hey, you," the raptor actually looked like, "Yes,
me."
And then just kicked out of the window. I'm like, "What the hell is this?" I was 8 years old. I was 8 years old when that movie came out in theaters. I saw this in the theaters, and even I was going, "That doesn't make any sense."
It kind of reminds me of the Hobbit, the second one, where they're running through the city or the underground, the mining area in the Lonely Mountain, and they're going, "Hey, Smaug, over here," and Smaug's like, "Oh," and then another group goes, "No, Smaug, over here," and he's like, "Oh, no, I'll get you," and I'm like, and they literally just started or just finished talking about how smart the dragon was, right? And I'm like, what is this story is dumb. It's like Smaug is too smart to like fall for the old "hey you over here" trick. Yeah, pretty much. You could play what is that?
Senny Hill, baby.
Yeah, but it's something sax, whack. I don't know, whatever.
Sax or whatever.
Something like that. But it was. I was not really happy with the second Hobbit movie. As a matter of fact, for the third one, I think that's going to be on demand or something.
So how many? So for the first Hobbit movie, how many mehs would you give it?
I kind of liked it. I would give it one meh.
One meh?
Yeah, it was all right. I liked it.
Oh.
Yeah. Here's how I see it. This is how I see the trilogy for The Hobbit. I see it as an Oreo cookie.
Okay.
Right? You got the essential base, the intro. That was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have Destination Smug, which is the bad-for-you filler.
Right.
All that action filler. And also they just renamed the third movie. It's not called There and Back Again. It's actually called The Hobbit Battle of Five Armies.
Right.
So, now we get that next essential layer. But here's what I'm calling BS on. Why is the Black Arrow a ballista?
right.
arrow.
It's supposed to be raise an archer.
It's supposed to be a freaking longbow arrow.
Right.
Kelly's so stupid. Everybody knows that.
So no, you know what? I had a problem with that, Brian. I really did. I was kind of like, ugh, that's so unnecessary. But the part I had the most trouble with in that movie, and I mean, it just like literally, I wanted to get up and walk out, and I probably should have. But when they were going down the river, and they had the orcs and the elves jumping on the barrels, and they were fighting, jumping from barrels, I was like, this is so gratuitously over the fucking top.
Did you notice that some shots you can actually tell they were done through a pro cam?
Oh God, no, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, if you watch them, you can tell what's been done with the Red Epic cameras and the little Go helmets. I have it on my tablet. I was just watching it on my tablet 3 days ago, and I'm like,
that's a GoPro, right?
I'm like, what the fuck?
I hope it was a GoPro Black Plus. I mean, jeez.
But
Here's
the thing. Look, first off, and I don't mind when directors change. I don't mind when movies change from the book some, okay? But first off, there was no fight on the barrels. That didn't happen at all.
They just got away.
They got away. But okay, so I'm fine with them changing it, having a little bit of a fight scene with the orcs, because the orcs aren't chasing them in the book anyway.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But what they were doing with the jumping from barrel, it was ridiculous. It was just like
2 words.
What?
2 words. Warner Brothers.
Yeah, it was
Warner Brothers.
horrible.
You know, because if you look at Peter Jackson's previous work when it was just New Line Cinema,
right,
not films, it was great. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of the classics.
Awesome, very.
But
awesome.
now
Put your hands on it too much, huh?
Yeah, but now that Warner Brothers is the main producer, it's like, oh God.
And they 2 movies should have been 2 movies, at most. This third movie shit was ridiculous. Maybe 1. Like 1 would have, in my opinion, I think it's a 1 movie book. But I could see you stretching out the 2. I could see it.
Because here's what's killing me though is, The Hobbit is a children's book. Right. Tolkien wrote this to read to his grandchildren.
Sure.
The fact that you see decapitation, people being tortured, and,
right.
Like, yeah, it's got British humor in it.
But there's no rape, okay? So that's good.
Oh, yeah,
or cutting off of any penises.
No penises being cut off, so that's good.
No mutilations.
Right.
You know what?
I don't know about elves, though.
More of a travesty, though.
What's that?
What?
Is that in the 2014 MythWits movie draft?
Are we going there now? Are you segueing?
The other woman just totally raped Transcendence in its first week.
Not surprised. I saw the reviews for Transcendence, and I haven't even watched it yet. But after like Rotten Tomatoes and everything, I was like, it's one of those like, it's great on paper, but the execution was trash. At least I'm on the roster now. And besides, Transcendence, I just like, fuck it, why not? I'll bid on it. Transcendence was.
That's what I said.
Yeah, Transcendence was a crapshoot.
Christ, I just butt raped Transcendence.
Yeah,
you beat me by $6 million right now.
Hey,
you beat me by
to be honest with you,
my first weekend out, and it's only Monday.
And you know what, Mike? I was looking at this list, and I was thinking, holy shit! You know what? Mike has a nice ass lineup. I mean, the other woman. Okay, I didn't even know the other one was going to do so well. And look, it's doing great for you. That's that's going to be a nice boost to you, because then you've got X-Men. That's going to fucking kill. All right. You've got Transformers, and I know it looks like shit, but I'm telling you, that's going to make you some money. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I guarantee you that's going to make money.
Yeah. It could give me the boost. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, first, before we go any further,
wait a minute, is Brian done with
place?
Dude.
Tied for 5th place. Ian, my son Ian, and Mr. Peter, no broke back Pete, are tied for 5th place. Brian, you have 4th place. Me, the other man, for 3rd place, and 2nd place, 14 Degrees North for $96 million, and Team Deadpool at a very strong, very long-winded lead at $249 million.
Yeah, they're doing really, really good out the gate. But
here's what I'm going to say right now.
Okay.
Because I know I got to head out soon and all that, but look. Adrian's team, Adrian Devon, Team Deadpool, they're off to a strong lead, but literally as soon as The Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out, literally those two movies are what's going to be the backbone.
Yep.
Because, especially David and Mike Edwards' team, they got some great ones. Maleficent, Dawn of the Apes, those are good ones. And then, like we said, Mike, you got great summer finishers. And I don't like bragging. I don't like making waves, but look, man, I knew Transcendence was a crapshoot, but just look at my list, look at my roster, because I'm a movie guy, I'm a film student, and there were some movies I wish I had on my list, like X-Men or Guardians, but one movie not just because I'm a hardcore fan, but I had to have Godzilla on my roster because I've been literally following the press buzz, and no one has said a bad thing about it.
Yeah, Godzilla's gonna kill.
Yeah, it could rocket you to the top. Dude.
But here's something that's just shocking. That's just a bit shocking. How The Fault in Our Stars, I think, is actually going to be a surprise because Fault in Our Stars is the best-selling teen book for the last 3 years. The minute that goes into theaters, it's going to be like Harry Potter and Twilight, mass influx of teenagers.
Yeah, and then you got a nice spread here because then you got your Train Your Dragon. That's for the younger audience, and that looks really good.
Yes. Did you see the 5-minute intro clip that they put out?
No.
They literally put out the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Nice.
And
Hercules is going to be a turd. I'm going out on a limb. That's going to be a turd.
It just kills me because it looks like they're actually trying to do some of the original mythos of Hercules, like the trials. You see him fight the lion.
Yep.
You see him fight the boar. The Hydra in the swamp, and I'm like, they're doing the mythos, but they got the wrong people. I don't even mind The Rock playing Hercules. He actually looks like Hercules. But the director. I'm going to say it again. The director.
Well, not only that, but like if you look at the previews, it looks like a cheesy. It looks like it's all cheesed up, like the Clash of the Titans, the new Clash of the Titans. It was all fucking. It was too goddamn cheesy.
Yeah.
I don't know, Pete. What do you think about I don't know, $1 Million Arm? I honestly think that $1 Million Arm might outdo Million Ways to Die in the West because every time I see that trailer, it just sinks my heart because I love everything about
Seth MacFarlane
and everything. It's just
He's a sellout.
You're killing me.
We'll see.
He's a sellout.
Yeah. We'll see. It seems like it's it seems like one of these movies that is, it's going to be a crapshoot. Much like Transcendence was a crapshoot. I see that as my Transcendence. I was kind of hoping that, being that it's Seth MacFarlane, it's a comedy. I was thinking maybe he'd be able to pull it off, but I'm like you said, I was watching one of the trailers and I was just kind of like, ooh, that might not have been the wisest choice.
Especially since they're kind of doing what they did with Your Highness. They're putting in modern language and grammar in a Western. I'm like, when Seth MacFarlane's like, oh, someone's gonna get fucked up. I'm like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't know how well I have a bad feeling about my picks. I think
Planes will help you out. I know that. Even though Planes is kind of it's a kids movie.
It's still probably going to do better than what's the other one that just than Rio 2. I think you'll have a better chance with Planes than Rio 2 had.
Because it's Pixar.
Yeah. Hopefully, let's hope so.
And the other thing we haven't discussed yet is, and if you're watching, if you look all the way to the column over to the right, you'll see gross per purchase price.
Right.
And even though we're not playing that, it's still kind of a neat stat to keep track of that I like how the box office draft does keep track of, and that is that, for instance, Captain America: Winter Soldier, they're at it's $225, but his price that he paid, because he paid $25, that's only $9 million per dollar or per unit that he spent on it.
Yeah, but that's good. The higher that number, the better, isn't it?
Well, that is true. However,
if they saved more money, they could have invested in other movies.
Right, and that would have been a higher amount, in other words. So in other words, like, if you think about it, let's see.
Because we're going by combined score here.
Yeah.
Because we don't know who's going to win until, like, the end of August.
Right.
So,
Like the other woman, technically, I paid $3, so my gross per purchase price is actually higher than Rio 2.
Yeah.
I'm at $8 million per purchase price
Yes.
as opposed to.
you're by ratio wise, you're doing better than Captain America. You only sank $3 and you're getting 8 mil per purchase.
I'm getting my money's worth out of it, but since we're not really going by that, although whoever, well, let's say whoever has that as a secondary kind of a line. Should that be me, for instance, I will definitely toot that, and I think whoever has that as a it could be a secondary track, whoever it is.
Sure.
Right.
All right.
So, all right.
Well, that's
Brian,
enough
I
of
know
that.
you got to go. You have some school work to do, and
Well, that and house hunting and whatnot. I gotta go back to Realtor.com, plug in, and look for
Right.
and look for a place to live before they kick us out at the end of May.
don't forget when you find an area, check the cock cutter offer registry. Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
'Cause if
Don't
they-
you know? You don't
any
only get
cock cutter
stuck with.
offers.
Always ask your realtor that. So, how's the neighborhood? Any cock cutters, dismemberers, cannibals, rapists? Hardcore George R. R. Martin fanboys.
Mutilation.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
All right, Brian.
All right, brother Brian.
You
All right,
guys
well,
have a
then-
good one.
Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Hey!
What?
We were gonna play a game now. How about we just do a quick game, Brian? If you have to go, that's fine. And we were gonna play one game, and I'm not gonna give it away. I'm not gonna introduce it now since I don't want anyone to have any time to research it per se. It's a challenge game, but so instead of that, I was just gonna do since it was gonna be you and I, Pete. I was just gonna do like we were talking the other day, remember that game, like King of the such and suches?
Oh crap! All right.
Yeah, so we're gonna play that. I don't know what you call this game. What is it?
It's the king of game.
The
So
King-
basically,
yeah, we're just gonna call it the King of Game. So
we'll throw out something, and then Mike and I have to go. We're gonna stick with celebrities, right? People, well-known people, or
Well-
we doing movies, or what are we doing?
it's gonna be any word, and you can literally, if that word or is this is how I was envisioning this, is that if that word is in any part of a combination of words, in other words, like if it was $1 million, $1 million baby, $1 million arm, million ways to die in the West,
Right.
million who wants to be
Million
a
Man
millionaire?
March.
Right, Million Man March, exactly, things like that. King of the Millions.
Right.
All right. So the first word, and I will give you the first go, okay? Because I'm going to submit this word, and then the king of has to choose the next word. So I'm thinking I have to have more words ready. So have something in the bank ready to go.
Crap.
Okay.
Hold on. All right.
Basically, if you think about it, the best one is just some common type verb or nouns or verb.
Right.
So I'm going to submit to you Fox.
Fox News.
Jesus Christ. What does the fox say?
Fox and the Hound.
Foxtrot.
Oh shit. Fox Hunt.
Fox.
I don't know. Does that count? No.
I don't
right.
know. Maybe.
No, because that's not a thing. That's like a sport. All right. So. Oh, I know. Red Fox.
Foxy lady.
Foxy Brown.
Oh, coming at me quick. Fox. Shit, Fox. You're king of the foxes.
King of the Foxes. All right. I'm going to give you one.
All right.
Chicken.
Slam chicken.
Oh, all right.
Two inside.
I have to. It's very inside, but I'll take it.
All right.
Chicken noodle soup.
Chicken tenders.
Chicken run.
Chicken liver.
So we're just gonna name a bunch of chicken food.
You picked chicken, bitch.
It's supposed to be like it's supposed. All right. That's fine. All right, let's get them all the way. Chicken thigh.
Okay, no more food,
Okay.
chicken parts.
All right, thank you.
All right, so oh, come on, hold on. damn, you know what? When you have a picture in your head and you're like, it might not even be anything related to that because I'm picturing what is that?
Come on now, come on.
All right. Chicken coop.
Ah, there you go. Okay. Chicken Run.
You already said Chicken Run.
Okay, Chicken Little.
Ah, you fucker. Fuck. This sounded like a good idea back. You know what? You have to be king of the chickens.
King of the chickens. All right. I'll let you pick the next one. Go ahead. Even though I won. Go ahead. Pick the next one.
All right. Okay. Honey.
Honey. Okay. A honey. All right. Honey Bunny from the movie Pulp Fiction.
Honey Boo Boo.
Oh, okay. Honey Crisp.
Honey Pot.
Oh, Honeycomb.
Oh. Did you say Honey Bunny?
Yes, I did.
Oh, fuck yeah, you did. All right. Honey.
Oh, I got one.
Honey Bunches of Oats.
Oh, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, you. Because it's like if I didn't steal what he just had, he's coming right back at me. That's not a good one. Fuck.
King of the Honey. I love this game.
I hate this game.
It was your idea, motherfucker. All right, that's enough silliness. Let's call it quits.
My medicine wore off.
All right, guys. All right, so that's another episode of the MythWits. Thanks, Lou, for coming on and being a guest. As always, very entertaining. Lou is a friend of the show. We've met him and hung out with him quite a bit. So I knew it was a shoo-in to have him on here at some point. If you're going to go to a convention where there's an INGM contest or I guess competition, make sure you go and at least watch it, even if you don't participate in it. It's a fun.
And make sure your room is far away from the stage.
Because some of the things we missed out on that we didn't talk about with him, I kept wanting to go back to it, but I kept forgetting to go back to it because we get on something else. Was that like they do like an intermission type show where they have all kinds of crazy stuff happen. At one point, one of the shows they had Roan put on a big giant like crossbow on his back, and he was like in a gimp suit, and he was running around, and they were firing, I forget what they were firing, like bean bags or something out of the crossbow off his back at one of the game masters, I think it was. Also, whenever they roll a natural 20, because it's the game is it defaults to 3.5, D&D 3.5. You can play other systems, but basically that's the default if you can't get unanimous agreement at the table. And he will, whenever somebody rolls a natural 20, they have the I don't know what you call them, the game girls, the dice girls. I don't know what they are, but they'll come over and they'll put a bead around a string of beads around your neck that are six-sided, and they hit you with a giant foam D20. And then at some point during the game, they do dragon calls where they'll have people come up and they have to make dragons. They have to make a dragon call and just goofy stuff like that. So it's a show. It's a whole show. I mean, there is a big chunk of it where they're just role playing and you can watch people role playing. Huh? What's that?
I think we gave Lou a good idea. Maybe this year they could be the cock cutter offers.
Oh yeah, the cock cutter. Yeah, it could cut somebody's cock
cutter
off.
offer.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So
no 20s. No.
All right, so check the links out below, down here as usual. I'll have the links for all of Lou's stuff. Razor Coast is really it's an amazing book. I've seen it, and I don't actually own a copy, but I'm thinking about buying a copy of it because there's something I want to run it for. Because I don't play D20, so it's not something I would normally buy, but I think I'm going to buy it just for the source material. I'm going to use it somewhere else. But it's a nice, a very pretty book. Lots of really cool stuff in it.
Who do we have next week as a guest, Pete? Do we have someone lined up yet?
I don't actually have someone lined up next week. I have somebody like the week after, but I don't have somebody for next week. So stay tuned. I will get a guest for next week. If nothing else, it'll be Jonathan. Maybe we can get Jonathan Reinhardt in here, and he can talk to us about wargaming.
Okay.
Or maybe I want to get. I'd like to try and get Don Higgins in here, maybe to talk about artwork, like doing artwork for games or something.
And if not, there's always the episode where we can just do a free for all.
Yeah, and we might do that too. We need to have an episode where we talk about the upcoming con schedule. Mike and I are only going to two cons this year, right? I mean, we're just doing Balticon and Dragon Con.
We're not going to make it to Gen Con, right?
No, not this year. No, there's the whole money thing. I'm trying to recuperate off of some of the stuff I spent. What's money? So anyway, that's it. Let's wrap this up. All right, Mike, I'm gonna run the closer.
I'll be quiet.
Okay.
You've just enjoyed the MythWits. Join us for a live broadcast next week and every week, Mondays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you miss our live show, you can always catch the encore episodes and the podcast version at our website and on iTunes. Make sure to check out our website at MythWits.com, and of course visit us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and iTunes. MythWits is a Studio187.com production and is protected under an attribution, non-commercial, no derivatives, Creative Commons work. You can download and share it with whoever you like. Just don't change it and don't try to make money with it. Make sure to check out Studio187.com for more cool stuff. See you next week.